Yo, welcome back to another finished property.
Yo.
Excited about this one, 7-bed HMO. We took this property on in an utter state. It was ripped back to brick by the old contractor developer that worked on it. That contractor done over that developer, so it was left as a pretty distressed asset. I happen to know the person who's selling it, so we got it off market, and now we've turned it around into a nice plush 7-bed HMO. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how we look at HMOs, because I know there's all sorts of variations out there, but we have quite a frugal approach, looking at maintenance and actual numbers of finances and how we can make the most income out of these properties long term. But there's various tricks to doing that, so I'm going to walk you through. Yeah, subscribe. This property was actually 3 flats before the previous owner stripped it out, and they had a 3-phase meter in here with all the sub-meters and things like that. So we've taken all that stuff out and put in the right meters and distribution boards for the HMO, and then just boxed it in this place rather than try and moving it around, get fancy with it, save a bit of cost. It doesn't really disrupt anything that much, so why not? I'll show you one of the bedrooms first. So these front rooms benefit from the bay window, which is always nice because you get all this extra space. Note the furniture. We go for a really rigid furniture, stuff that is hard, it's solid. It's not necessarily beautiful because at the end of the day, it's all going to get ruined. You've got to assume that tenants will not look after the property. You can have wishful thinking if you want, but realistically, it's not their property, it's not their furniture. There's no real incentive for them to look after it other than the fact they want to save on their damage deposit. Ultimately, long term, they will get knocked about a bit, so making sure they're rigid and solid is key to saving money in the long term, because that's where the money goes. You know, imagine all this furniture in here. At some point, every single bit throughout the property is going to get replaced. That money's coming from you, the investor, or me, the investor. At some point, paying for all this stuff. Sure, you get appreciation in the asset that can help you refinance and pay for that stuff in capital sums, but really, get it right from the start, and it will last probably twice as long doing it properly. But you want to keep thinking about how can you make sure that you're not going to be spending extra money on the property in perpetuity, right? So we do these wall lights. So these cost a bit more to fit in. It's about 300 odd quid a room compared to, say, sticking a lamp on the side. But a lamp on the side can get knocked about, it can get stolen, and it can break. Whereas if you stick them on the walls, you are paying extra for that, but at least they're fixed in, they're never going to move, and they give quite a nice effect. I think it gives you that hotel sort of service level, which is good in a HMO. You want someone in a HMO to feel like they're being looked after. Yeah, I'd say the wall lights are a good touch. Finishes, we've tried the chrome finishes before on all your light switches, your sockets, and it can cost you about £2 extra, 2 to 3 grand extra in a property. Same with the matte black stuff as well, but it doesn't affect your rents. No one cares. No one cares. So just put the white stuff in. That's literally like £1 to just change that if it ever breaks. And also, they don't stain as easy. Like if someone's got long nails, like girls with long nails or rings and stuff like that, it can scratch the mat off. And there's all kinds of things you've got to think of, but keep them white, keep them simple is what I'd say. But all of this only applies in the right areas. You can sometimes, like places like London and other competitive areas, you may want to put in slightly nicer stuff, slightly nicer finishes. But I'd say plug sockets aren't one of those things, probably more like your feature wall, maybe LED covings or some recessed ceilings with LED strips in them. You could go quirky with stuff like that. And it's probably worth it in those areas to be competitive. But where we operate, there's less HMO offerings. It's just not worth it. You're wasting money on those finishes. We're quite big on that. That's why I want to explain it in this video. Same with the bathrooms. So much money gets wasted on bathrooms, not only on the initial fit out, but on the long-term maintenance. It's a simple stud finish. But in here, you've got the pedestal. So we don't give them big drawers or anything like that under the sink, because those things rot away and they get broken over time because they're going to put gels and all that kind of stuff in there. And we don't come in and clean their bathrooms. We only clean the communals. And we do make sure that all of our tenants are aware that you've got to keep on top of your bathroom, keep on top of the cleaning. We even put it on the wall. But having just a standard pedestal, there's less things that can go wrong. They can always come in and put their own basket or shelf in. Like we always leave a space by the toilet, and most tenants will do that. So that as for the actual shower itself, we do shower panels. Difference being, it's one big sheet. No grouting issues. You can still get your silicone mould over time, and you have to replace that. But again, keeping on top of your tenants, making sure that they're cleaning it as they go, could be a good way to stay on top of that. You've got this cabinet here, straightforward. Put your little bits and bobs, your little pharmaceuticals and whatever, can go in there. Standard splashback, toilet. Like the 3-piece suite is very basic. Like we don't put anything too crazy in here because it will all break. You just have to assume that this stuff all breaks over time. It's okay to finish a HMO and have it look immaculate and amazing and staged really well. And then you get people moving in, they love it, great feedback, stuff like that. But it's holding that thing for years and years on end and keeping it at that standard. That's where the cost is. And you don't want to be paying those costs. So I think keeping them as a clean, tidy, professional finish, low on the maintenance, all this stuff is easy and cheap to replace. Very, very very simple, but it's effective. We get top market rents. We're getting 600 to 650 a room, and I'm not having to put in jazzy walls and features and acoustic panels and all sorts of stuff like that, which I'm seeing people do. I'm clocking it going, that's a waste of money. You don't need to be doing that. Your tenants don't really care. They just care that it just looks well. It looks like it's serviced nicely. But we'll talk about that more throughout the property. I just want to point this out as well. Always have our isolation valves accessible. That there is our isolation valves for the water in this ensuite. The reason that's important is because if there's ever a leak, for whatever reason, then you can isolate the water supply to this ensuite. You don't have to turn off the water for the whole building to cut what could just be an isolated incident in this one bedroom. Right, out here, here's another thing. These bad boys, Digilocks. It's not electric. That is just a manual lock. They just bang in the buttons. You get given a code. You give that code to the tenant and no keys. One of the biggest problems you'll have with HMOs is keys. It is the bane of your life. So tenants will lose keys all the time. So another thing to think about. Come out here, Sonny. We just had our washing machine and dryer turn up, so they are sat in the hallway. There's another bedroom in there, exact same thing. So here we have a dedicated utility space. We're fortunate to have the space in this one. So you're gonna stack the washing machine and dryer, so they have their own dedicated area. And then you've got the kitchen diner, little seating area, Howden's Greenwich kitchen. We've got the 6-ring hob there, and then a little seating area. Don't need a lot more than this. This is definitely a preference thing. Again, our rental values in this property will be top of the market. You know, we could come here and put in, you know, bespoke furniture and really maximize the space and make it look sick. But tenants just don't really use communal areas. This is a HMO. This is for people who want to live frugally, people who are coming to get somewhere because they're on a transient job placement or something where they're here for 6 months and then they're out. Just keep it simple, keep it stupid, and you save a lot of money on the initial fit out, and then you save way more money in the long term. The money you don't see. When you fit things out to a high standard, it really does cost your pocket later on the maintenance and replacing bits and call-outs, and agents will charge you more for those call-outs and things like that. It's just stuff to bear in mind, but that is a very straightforward finish and it looks nice. And again, we'll get top market rates for it. We haven't got blinds yet, so we are putting blinds in, we're not that cheap. There's a few snags to do as well. You notice there's a bit of paintwork that needs to be touched up. We just had our electrical tests, so all our sockets are still off whilst they're being tested. So I can't remember what these are called, but basically it's just a solid handrail. It's like a one piece rather than a screw at each individual end. It just will never move. Like that thing is, like you could hang off that. So that is solid. Carpets, another big thing. So we go for a very hard wearing carpet. Obviously it's generous on the stains, so grey's a good colour in that way, but we do put a nice soft underlay underneath. It gives that soft feeling on the bottom of your feet while still being a hard wearing carpet. Here's another bedroom, pretty standard. It's all the same thing. Ensuite in there, pretty standard. We're working with quite a tight space in there, but we did make it work in the end. Got another bedroom in there. So all of these have en-suites bar one. There's one upstairs. I'll show you exactly what we've done to save the space. But this here is one of the bigger rooms. So nice sized room in here. Could have a couple in it, same with the one downstairs. We try and always make sure one room could have a couple, because why not? You can charge another 50 quid a month to have a couple in a room. If you've got the space for it, then you should do it. But don't do the whole property. You don't want more than maximum 2 couples within a property, because it's just too many heads, too many dramas. Couples fight as well, and that can, you know what I mean, cause dramas around the property. All these things you want to think of. This is an off-suite for one of the upstairs bedrooms, and I'll explain more in the upstairs bedroom why we put it down here, but ultimately we had the space. There's our isolation valve again. Make sure that's in here. It's nice because it's got a window. It's nice if you can get a window into a bathroom, it's worth doing. So I'll show you upstairs now. Up this way. So come on up, and then we've gone off in 2 directions. So what we did to do this is pulled out the old ceiling from below and dropped it down about 2.5 foot, maybe 3 foot. And that gave us enough space where we didn't have to do dormers, because dormers are expensive. And that would mean removing purlings and roof tiles and all sorts. So instead, you got this. Nice big Velux, brings lots of daylight into the room. You've got 2 bedsides, you've got a wardrobe. Sure, that's a little bit pokey. Maybe there could be a better arrangement for it. In hindsight, probably could have done that a little bit slicker, but it doesn't matter. You could still get past it. It's still in there, it's fine. And then in here, you've got basically a corner suite, little shower quadrant, and loads of space. It's all good. Like you're not restricted for head height in here at all without the dormer. And through here, this is where you can really make a choice. You have a slightly wider room, but you couldn't get an ensuite in here comfortably. That wouldn't have been a great idea. There's no bulb in that one. Definitely put bulbs in your lights, tenants like that. We could have stuck a big dormer out the back here, as some have done down the road, and then that'd have easily got our ensuite in and we wouldn't have to put it downstairs. But there was the space downstairs. We didn't need to replace the roof because it was in fairly good nick. So why do it? Why not just have the off-suite? Sure, you're gonna get slightly less per month by doing that, but relative to the spend, it's better to do it this way around. And that, I think, is the whole property. All right, it's maths time. Let's see what this property is gonna make every month. On average, let's be conservative. Let's say we're gonna get 575 to 625. Let's go 600 a month. Let's say we're gonna get, you know, let's say we're gonna get 575 a month, and I know we're gonna beat that. Let's say we get 575 a month per room, times by 7 rooms. It's 4,000. Let's call it £4,000 a month. Probably gonna be a bit more than that. But £4,000 a month, this thing's gonna generate gross. Then, at the moment, we know on average, all of our properties are performing at around 40 to 45% profitability once geared. So that's once they are servicing an interest from a mortgage every single month. So then, times that by 40%, let's say, is £1,600 net in a market like this, where interest rates are through the roof. When interest rates come down, this will easily be a £2,000 net a month property. And that's what you're gonna get every month, forever, leverage returns, equity growing in the property, and rents only going up and up and up as our government continues to print stupid amounts of money, affecting inflation, wages go up, prices go up, interest rates go up, landlords push rents up. It's a perpetual cycle. So quite a lot of things to think about. But anyway, hopefully that gave you a better insight into what we do in our HMOs. And there's loads of things we can improve. Drop it in the comments. What do you think we should be doing better? But bear in mind, frugality and low maintenance costs is what we're looking for. And that's me. That's this property. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe, leave me a comment. And if you're an investor and you're interested in adding HMOs to your portfolio, then check out our website, www.bowpartners.com. And if you want to engage with us, hit us up at info@bowpartners.co.uk. We look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.